Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 22nd, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, earlier this morning we had unemployment change coming out of Australia. We'll take a look at the Aussie dollar in just a moment. But later today, starting at 11:30, coming out of United Kingdom monthly retail sales. Now that's not such an important number, but if there are any surprises, you do want to know that it is coming out. But more importantly, at 2 o'clock South African time, official bank rate coming out of Great Britain. Now that's at a very important number. We'll take a look at the GBP USD in just a moment. Yesterday we had our webinar titled Understanding the Impact of News, and we also had a few strategies on how to trade the news. And as it was happening, simultaneously we had the FOMC rate decision was happening yesterday as well. So we kind of deviated from our regular webinar to actually give you a real example of the trading as it impacted as was happening. Okay, so we were discussing both the strategies, and we were discussing some of the impact of the news and how it was happening in real time. So it's really exciting for those that were there last evening. But let's take a look in the markets to see what's been happening as a result of the rate decision yesterday by Fed Chairman Powell. So we're jumping first into the Euro USD, and as you can see, we had a beautiful rally yesterday as the news comes out. So the markets initially tanked, and then subsequently rallied yesterday, and that was a good case in point. But you could have caught this 123 resistance level as we didn't continue our rally above it. Okay, so we're trading right now 123.54ish level, but we did, rescind back to this level 123.60. So as far as we're concerned, we're still trading in a range, okay? Whether the FOMC or anything else has happened, technically speaking, we're still trading in a range. So, as the saying goes, you short the top of the move, you buy the bottom of the move, sell high, buy low, and this is a great example of that. So, as the week progresses, maybe to look to actually short this in the anticipation it's going to go back down to 122.80-ish level. Now, looking at the GBP USD, we got a lot stronger yesterday, and we mentioned this earlier this week. As we broke this downwards trend line, we rescinded back down to the 139-ish level. As we continued holding this level, we used it as a support level. Now, this was really a layup. I did mention this earlier this week. There would have been a good buy right down here. And sure enough, we're trading at 141-ish right now. Now, going into the number, the official bank rate coming out at 2 p.m. South African time, you want to make sure that you're covered. Either if you're long or you're short the particular symbol, you want to make sure that you're protected. You either have your take profits in place and you have your stop losses in place. Now, this could be just a fake out, okay, with the anticipation of official bank rate to be negative, and then we're going to sell right back down. Or we can continue going back up. So at this stage, it's really biased on the upside because we've broken this, downwards trend, as you can see, and we used the parameter of 139-ish level as a support level. So, our real next target is 143. So, let's see if we do get that. Okay, it's a little bit hard to go into a number with a position, but you look like we're standing on the right side of it. Okay, looking at the Aussie USD, a little bit of a bounce this morning because of the unemployment or employment change rather. And we finally got it because we've been, as you can see, we've been desperate to get a little bit of a bounce as we've sold off sharply into the 76-ish level. Okay, it could be that it's cyclical because last year at this time it was also trading a little bit lower. As you can see, into May, June last year, we traded into the 74, 73-ish area. So it could be that it's cyclical, but as you can see, we've traded further down, and we've finally got a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of life here. It could be a dead cat bounce, excuse me, as it just falters right back down. So that's something to look at as the day progresses for a future trade. Now, looking at oil, we had a bullish day yesterday, and it continued further after the oil inventories number came out. We're trading at $65 a barrel. I wouldn't panic here. I don't think we're going into the 70s, but definitely if we close into the 66 level, may want to look to actually short it because it has, ultimately speaking, still trading in a range, okay, and we're slowly gaining into that top of that range. Okay, so your higher probability trade as it gets to the $66 range to maybe start looking to short it, maybe short a very small amount just to make sure that it doesn't go above the 65.50-ish level. In case that it does, you just, as worse, you've gotten hit a little bit hard just to, pay for that trade. So that's something to consider as this day continues. Now looking at the Dow Jones, you could see here in real time, we were watching this yesterday as this was coming out, and we saw this massive rally initially and then the fade, the correctional move that came right afterwards, and we're basically back down to where we were beforehand. Ultimately speaking, we've been somewhat trading in a range ever since we had the debacle of last month, and I don't think that we'll be trending upwards anytime soon. I think that we may test this 24,200-ish level, maybe the bottom of 24,000 once again if we do continue to going up. But I don't think that that's the case. Let's see as the corporate earnings actually come out and some of these companies start reporting their earnings. If it is positive and some of the bellwethers like JP Morgan, like Amazon continue to show positive news, I think then we'll get that confirmation maybe to go on the upside. But just generally speaking right now, we look like we're trading in that range. So something to consider to buy the bottom of the range, but looking for scalping opportunities for sure. Now this has affected obviously the JSC. The JSC is also trading, really in a tight range relatively to where it's been. Okay, we gapped up earlier this week and then we sold off, and we look like we're at that bottom of that range. So if we don't continue this further slide, we may bounce right off of here back to the 52,700 level as the week continues. Looking at the DAX also, as you can see, we've been trading in this very tight range between 12,335 and 12,245, and that's been tight. Okay, ultimately speaking, that's a tight range, but you could see that we're faltering at the bottom of the range, but we're not breaking lower. So that could be a positive news as things progress onto the upside. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.